Welcome back to Heisei Week. This is the greatest day. Team Rider here. I'm here along with AJ, the movie writer.
Hello, guys.
And I'm here with a whole bunch of people. Everyone say hi, starting with Zach.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Hollywood Zach back again for day 2, and it is going to be the best day because we're talking about Drive.
Nice.
And
Me? I'm Liz. I'm back again for day 2, and I'm very excited to talk about Gaim and Wizard.
Nice. Yes.
Hi, I'm Eric Trekkie B47 here for the first and only day for this for me. Ready to talk Fourze, Gaim, ready to go.
Nice. Hi, guys. Toku Chris. I'm here for my day 2, and I hope you're ready because this is pretty much going to be 55 minutes of Gaim, 4.5 minutes Thursday, and then Drive and Wizard happen. So,
Wizard have rings!
and donuts next.
Marcos.
Hey everyone, it's Marcos. I love Gaim as much as everybody else, but I also want to talk about Wizard and Fourze and Drive. They existed too.
They do.
Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom Soling Chu on Twitter, and I'm here to represent the merch.
Yeah,
Lucky.
Nice. Lucky.
You guys, there's proof. They're out there in the wild now.
They're
Yeah, in the wild.
They're right here.
Awesome, guys. Well, before we get started, some housekeeping. Don't forget, later today at 3 p.m., we'll be having the Kamen Rider toy stream, which will have Tokunation and Ranger Command back again, talking about awesome Kamen Rider toys. And tomorrow will be Ghost, X-Aid, and Build. So, tune back in for that as well. Don't forget, we do have our sale going on. I know somebody just finished watching Fourze, so
Right here.
I'm gonna highlight this real quick.
So convenient.
He
just
wants to be your
saying,
friend.
Look at that! Wow, that is crazy,
That's a great price.
man. If only somebody had just finished watching Fourze,
Yeah.
that would be great.
He's even posing the fist bump.
Yes.
He wants to be your friend.
He wants to be your friend.
And don't forget, we do have Kamen Rider merch, as you guys saw. And let me see, where is he? Boom. Oh, wow, look at that.
It looks really good in black shirt. So
Wow.
Multiple colors for all your
so
friends,
beautiful.
as Fourze is the power of friendship. So, all right. So, we're going to get right into it. We're going to start off with Fourze.
Yes.
So, Fourze is a
Oh,
great
yeah.
series. This is actually the first Kamen Rider figure I ever purchased. This is the SIC. So, very, very happy with it. Let's go ahead and I'll start with you, AJ, since you were the one who got me to watch Fourze. What
I love
Fourze.
I love it. It's nothing but wholesome goodness. Like the main character Gentaro is the best boy, just making friends with everybody that he can in any way. Like if you're feeling down, he'll do whatever he can to make you feel better.
Nice. Zach?
Yeah, Fourze, man, the theme of friendship and this high school club and all this is really cool, really unique. I love space as a theme. So the fact that we had a space rider with his huge rocket, it's like, yes, I want more of this, please. This is an amazing series.
Essentially, right now, this is the Kamen Rider Club right here.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah.
We need a
joined.
flag.
Yeah.
No flag, no club.
All right. Liz?
This is the one, guys. I haven't gotten to watch it yet. It's in my queue. I can't watch it until I finish O's. I can't let
Dang.
myself in. I have to finish O's before I'll watch it.
Look at that
It's the
flag.
It's the last one of everything from Den Ursa to current. I've seen everything except the second half of O's and Fourze, and I can't wait to start it because I hear it's amazing.
All right, Eric, you're up. Since you are the
Okay.
newest person to finish it.
So I literally just finished Fourze last night, and I was blown away by all the twists and turns. There's no spoilers here, but it's a really fun show. I love the theme of friendship, of space. I think all of the characters are really unique, and they all bring something to the show. Even the villains are really compelling. And I completely, absolutely love this show. I love Gaim, but this is like, I think this is edged out on Gaim. Seriously, I was just.
Well, thank you for coming.
He has no valid reason.
No, I mean it's like the freshest in my mind right now, and it was a fantastic series. I loved every part of it.
So Liz is gonna get her center spot back now, right?
Right. Just shift me over.
Awesome, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Fourze was my first Kamen Rider series from start to finish. The first one that got me to start buying merchandise. It was my first SH figure art was Fourze. The positivity in the entire series, it's refreshing even today, and I think Eric would agree with that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
The positivity is so welcoming and just it's so nice, and there's twists and turns. The music is great. The characters are fantastic. It keeps the same kind of 2-episode format that you saw for a while. It does eventually break away from that, but for a vast majority, it's 2-episode little story arcs. And it's one of those series that if you stick with it, man, you get rewarded so much at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, you're definitely right about the positivity. I said so on an earlier live stream. I went from Fourze to Amazon's. So that
Flash from that, man.
I was like, I need friendship again. Like, this is, I gotta go back.
That's dark. That's dark.
It was dark. I had to hold the figure close to me. I was like, oh god,
Kentaro, I need you.
Right?
Hug me, Kentaro.
Hey. Also, Marcos.
Fourze is just like everybody said. It's a very positive series, but it can also be very emotional. The sad moments in Fourze, they still hit me today.
Oh yeah.
But the characters.
I was in tears last night. Those last couple episodes.
Fourze will make you laugh. It'll make you cry, but it's also another comfy show. The characters are so lovable. The setting is wonderful. The story is fantastic. I love Fourze so much.
Nice. And finish it off, Tom.
Well, so when I watched it, I thought the one thing that really struck with me is how genuine all the actors were. Like they really seemed like they were really a group of friends. And more than all of that is like when, Kurtz and I started talking about, possibly could they bring another Kamen Rider series to America? I thought Fourze would have been perfect because they were wearing Letterman jackets. They were wearing, they were like, it was like
Football.
American high school almost. Exactly.
Yep. Right.
I mean,
it's never heard of.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom, on that point, like I've heard it be called Kamen Rider meets Mean Girls because
yes. So I grew up in the Showa era. I was from Taiwan originally, so I grew up with all of that. And the first Kamen Rider that I came back into was from Fourze, and it was because of Chris, who was watching it. He's gushing over it. He was like, "Tom, you gotta watch the show." I'm like, "What? It's just it's Rocket Man, whatever." And he was like, "No, you gotta watch it." And then I went through it, and the fact that they threw in Meteor, who's the first Bruce Lee Jinkundo writer, I was just like, "What?" Yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and one of the things I like about Fourze is that, like in other writers, they have like the little catchphrase, like their way of starting the battle that they do for a while, and then somewhere around the middle, they kind of stop and things get super serious, and then like when they fight him again as a hero, like they do it again. That's how everything's okay. But Fourze, he's like, nah, I'm doing the whole thing every time. Come ready, Fourze. Let's take this one-on-one every time.
And I loved what they did in. There's a bit of an echo. I liked what they did in every henshin, the 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
And it was always a different shot.
Yes. There is like one episode where like they got like the fun, like they have like the funniest faces, like what's his name, Shun, I think, or the football player.
Yeah,
they have them drinking water. They have them like drinking water. I love that. Stay hydrated.
Love it. Man. Now, I'm pretty sure this should be obvious, but what do you guys think that Fourze should be someone's first Kamen Rider?
I think this would make a great first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I think we'd all say yeah.
The accessibility of it, because they do bring in some of those Western tropes of like high school kids, does make it very relatable to Western culture.
Yeah, and zodiacs is another thing. The whole zodiac setting. Everyone knows about zodiacs, so I think it works.
Well, I think it's very relatable. I mean, we've all been to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big setting. But I would put a brief pause and just say that, looking at David's example, just be careful where you go after.
Yeah. Don't not go from Fourze to Amazons. Don't do it.
Like Drive or something.
Yeah. I was hoping
Gaim.
I was hoping that, hey, maybe like Fourze could hop over to Amazons and, we can make the Amazons and humans be friends. It didn't work out that way.
But it's also interesting for fans of Power Rangers. Koichi Sakamoto directed the first 4 episodes of Fourze, a chunk in the middle when like the final power-up appears, and the last 2 episodes. And that style is very reminiscent of his like high level when he was involved in Power Rangers and like the Disney era. So you'll see a lot of kind of the same camera work, the explosions. And so if you're a fan of Power Rangers and maybe you're not into Kamen Rider yet, Fourze is a really nice transition into that.
Nice. All right. So let's move on to our next guy.
Settle in, kids.
Wizard. I had a lot of fun with Wizard, mostly because he's red and black, which, as you can tell by my background, once again, is my favorite color scheme. So I really did enjoy that, and I like the driver. It's very polite. It's a very polite driver.
The very most polite driver.
Please.
Please.
So AJ, we'll start with you. What did you think about Wizard?
Wizard was really interesting. I really like the fighting style that he incorporates, along with the secondary writer involved in that series. And I think the pacing is definitely it felt slower than Fourze, but it was more of a serious tone. So I appreciated that. The whole way through, I continued watching it, and I really enjoyed watching Wizard.
Nice. Zach?
So, like Liz with Fourze, Wizard was a series I just didn't start. Because I watched them as they were airing. So I watched Fourze, and I was like, man, that series was so great. It was so positive and fun and happy and great and funny. And then I tried to watch like the first 3 episodes of Wizard, and it's like, hey, here's dark and despair and magic and slow burn pacing. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, that's not for me. That's for somebody else. So Wizard is a series I did not actually watch all the way through. There are some things I do like about it. I love the aesthetic of the suit. The suit is clean. It's fantastic. I love the idea of the gemstone mask and changing the style up. Maybe I do need to go back and give Wizard a rewatch at some point because
it really is tough. It's really tough from like Fourze to Wizard, like you said. And I remember the year that it aired. I was like, all right, next. You're right.
Awesome. Liz, I know you're wearing one of them, right?
I'll give Wizard some love. I think I went from Gaim basically to binge watching Wizard, because when I started getting into Rider was when Wizard was airing, and I didn't want to start watching something and have to like catch up to feel like so I'm not spoiled at the end. So I went back, and I guess I was lucky enough that I just got to watch it all. There wasn't like, oh, that was kind of a boring episode, and then it turns into 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and then you're like, oh, I'm 17 episodes behind. I got to just watch it in one chunk, and I did enjoy it. It was a great I don't say like introduction to Rider, but I loved the fighting style. I love the way he changed suits. Because I don't know, it's not spoilers, but like when he says like please, how that's just giant portal that comes out and the magic of it, and it's just the transformations and everything in it are really awesome. I also like dragons. I like magic. So maybe it's looking back with rose-colored visors. I'm not sure, but it to me will always be kind of special. And I love Beast. Beast is great. He's constantly, he has to eat things. He puts mayo on everything. He was just kind of cute, and I wanted to like put him in the closet and just take care of him. Be like, stop wandering. I'll take care of you now.
He made me rethink mayo. I'm like, maybe I don't like it as much. Awesome. Eric?
Yeah, so this is actually the one out of the 4 that we're talking about that I haven't watched yet. I watched the first couple episodes, but I love the aesthetic, so it's good. What?
No, it's not.
So I'll pass it along to Chris.
Sure. I had to go back and watch Wizard later. I tried to do what Zach did and what others have done and go from Fourze as Fourze aired to Wizard. And that is such a hard leap. So, spoiler, if you watch Fourze, don't go straight to Wizard. It's not it's not a good transition.
Or
Wizard,
Amazon.
Especially Fourze was positivity and happiness. Wizard's like introvert, loner, like, depressing for a bit. It's and that's a big tone shift to go from. But going back and rewatching it, I can appreciate it more now that I've seen other series and so forth. But man, yeah, it's these watching the shows like live from series to series, man, they can throw you for a loop. But no, it's a great series. It's great aesthetic. Great music. The theme song is just popping.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
That standby music is pretty good. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Marcos?
All right, I guess I'll spread more positivity here too. High five, Ranger Liz. Let's go. Okay, so the thing with double O's and Fourze, they're very familiar. They're pretty easy to get into, and then we get into Wizard immediately after Fourze. And while it still has a little bit of that familiarity, it's still different. It's unique. It's its own. They change a bit of the story stuff. They do make it a bit darker. They do change some character personalities around to really stand out from what we've had before. And I think what really adds to what's cool about Wizard is the style. Everybody loves the aesthetics. Everybody loves the magic theme to it. It's so stylish. The fights are so cool. The choreography is great because they have to fight with the either special effects or like kicks and roundhouses, and it's just so cool to watch. It's great. It's explosive. I love the fight scenes in Wizard. And if I do want to add positivity into the story, there is things to like. There are characters to enjoy. There are cool stories you can follow, and even if you're not watching week to week, and if you're binging it, I think it's a lot better to just sit down, give it a few episodes, give it a try, and enjoy those characters, enjoy their story, enjoy their journeys, enjoy their development. And there is a lot to like about Wizard too.
Nice. And Tom?
Well, so I guess this is a good point towards Fourze, because watching Fourze week to week actually gave me the endurance to watch Wizard from week to week. Actually, I was so high that it couldn't bring me down. It actually carried me through Wizard all the way through. And the one thing that I found was that the disconnect of the actor and the Sue actor, because once he becomes Wizard, he becomes more alive, right? Everything he does is like so much more dynamic, whereas the regular actor wasn't as dynamic. But I don't know if that was just the direction that he was getting or whatever. But this guy had a whole dragon that turns into a foot for him to do it. Right? I mean,
Right.
it can't get any better than that. I mean, there's a whole dragon that turns to a foot.
Right.
Beast, in my opinion, Beast saved the show.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, I love Beast so much. I think he saved the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in Wizard, like in the later stuff, one of his finishers is just his sword it just gets massive. And when he boom on someone. And I mean, the sword is like 3 stories tall, and he's holding this thing and smashing them.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the finishers also.
Well,
in
even,
this
even
one,
the first time, Even the first time when he reached through the portal and he's got a huge hand. That was hilarious.
Oh, like using like a big one?
Yeah.
I remember they had the figure art of that, and it's just the big,
I have it.
Dude.
it's like
Yeah,
life-size hand.
I will say from like
life-size.
Fourze and Wizard both have like the best little buddies. Like you had
Yeah.
the burger meals.
Uh-huh.
You had the little like
The
building
food
kits. Like you had the you had like
Yeah,
the
familiar.
unicorn, the kraken. I was like, these are cute. I like these.
I forgot about the food buddies.
Yeah, like burger
Food
buddy,
droids.
chicken nugget buddy.
Those were awesome.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. But it's funny, like one thing you mentioned, Tom, was how he changed from being kind of not as lively to being super lively when he was in Kamen Rider form. Remember, when he henshin, he said it's showtime. When he's regular, it's not showtime yet.
True.
So
I'm surprised there was no cross promotion with like Krispy Kreme or something because donuts he was eating.
yeah,
Nobody needs to do that with Krispy Kreme.
Plain sugar. Plain sugar was all he needed.
plain sugar. Now, before we go on to the whole entire point of today, I'm gonna start from AJ. Should someone start with Wizard?
I think Wizard can definitely be within like your second to third, getting a little bit more feel because I think if you also like if you've watched a lot of the older Heisei stuff, I think it has something familiar within that kind of storytelling that it's definitely not a first, but you can come to it as a second or third for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna mirror what AJ said. I don't think it could be somebody's first. Don't get me wrong. But I think that with the slightly heavier tone, you may want to get a feel for some other riders first, unless you're into like that kind of storytelling. Then sure, go for a Wizard.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, yeah, why not? If you like it, I mean,
If you
we
like
all
magic,
said enough really positive things about it, and if it catches your eye, like me, I binge watched it all, and it is a little easier to digest, as you guys are saying, like with the plot, and it's a little heavier and stuff. But I enjoyed it, and I think if you want to get watching Kamen Rider, watch Wizard, please.
that was good.
That was good.
I can't top that, and I haven't seen it yet.
We're all trying to convince you, Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm convinced.
Stare at Eric. Stare at Eric.
See, I love a good dark story. As everyone mentioned, I love the aesthetic of Wizard. I think that suit is gorgeous and the form changes. So I'm down for it, but maybe I'll watch another one first before that Fourze transition.
You gotta cleanse your palate of Fourze first.
Ride that high. You ride that high.
Right.
You need to become a little more depressed first. No.
Okay.
No.
No, I'm sorry. No.
No, it's about hope, guys. It's about hope.
That's
It
the
is
joy of
about
Kamen
hope.
Rider, right? Like any rider can be your first rider. Like you don't need. I don't feel it's right to. With a Wizard, like Wizard, it wasn't for me, but that doesn't mean it won't be for you. That doesn't mean it won't be for Eric. That doesn't mean that somebody that's never seen Kamen Rider won't love it. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, no, you should probably make this your third because everybody appreciates it in a different way. You know what I mean? So to me, if you're into magic, not like Harry Potter Hocus Pocus magic stuff, but more into like magician wizardry, almost like tricks and stuff like that, then this is a possibility. But as I said yesterday, the Heisei, especially this latter Heisei era, is all about themes. So pick a theme that sounds interesting to you, whether it's magic or fruit fighters or space friendship, and go with it and make it your own. And if you like it, you do, and if you don't, you don't.
Nice. Marcos?
Dang. So like everything Chris said, I was gonna say. Like everything Chris said, I was gonna
Word
say.
for word.
I
from you.
read your notes. I tweeted them.
Okay, well, basically, to echo a little bit, is that this show can be your first, and if you're interested in the magic theme, then definitely go for it. Because again, it is very aesthetically pleasing to watch. The magic is great. The choreography is some of my favorites in the whole franchise.
Yeah.
But it can be your first. But I would say maybe you want to check something out, or if you're into the darker storytelling, if you're into the storytelling of like Heisei Phase 1, then it's still worth watching. I think Wizard definitely needs a lot more love out here, and I would love more people to watch it, at least an episode, because the first episode is fantastic. Please don't at me.
Yeah.
It's one of the best openings.
It is. That was a really good first
that cold
episode.
intro with the theme and the
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And Tom, bring it on home.
So I really think that if you're gonna start watching Wizard and you start feeling like, oh, maybe this is not for me, just hang on tight until you get to the Beast part. Once he shows up, the entire show, the whole tone just changes. Like he brings so much life into the show that you feel like you're watching a different show. And the way he's fighting with that cape, with that whole trench coat, it's like Neo out of Matrix. Like the thing that he does, like it's almost like Doctor Strange, the way he has like his own life. The thing moves beautifully, and that's why when they released the toy, they came with all these different parts of cape, which you're never gonna use, but they come with it. But now they come with the wires, so you can pose them now. So I really think that cape is truly like the first time where Kamen Rider really experimented with anything that's flowy. So I love that.
Nice. All right then. Well,
David, are you ready
David's favorite
for
part.
your? Are you ready for
I'm
your
very
part?
much ready. No, don't worry. I won't take the whole stream up. I just have an 8-hour essay to read. No. So next we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gaim. Oh my gosh, this is whew, so good.
Someone
Chris is going to take the stage a little bit.
This is his stage.
David, why do you
roots come down? It's gonna take a while.
why do you like Gaim, David?
Outside of the fact that it's perfect, because that's a pretty good reason. No, I like Gaim because when I first saw it, nice.
Oh my
There
god!
he is.
Hold
Nice.
on. Wait, hold on. Let me find you. Let me
We
find you down
stand
here real quick.
still.
Boom. Oh,
I can
need
talk.
more.
That's the best part.
So, like
Are you-
Chris
are
has
you
vanished
talking
mid henshin.
that's what's up. That's what's up. I need a Kachidoki Arms version of that immediately. I need that figure. Man, I need so much.
Got some
Anyway,
people complimenting that helmet. So
Yeah, it's a good helmet. But the reason why I like Gaim is because when I first saw it, I saw that there were street dancers in it. I saw that there was samurais that had fruit fall out of the sky on their head and turn into armor. I was like, there's no way on God's green earth that I'm gonna like this show. And then at the end of episode 1, I'm like, dang, they got me. Like, I just like, first off, like in the first episode, when he first gets the driver, the stuff he does with it in like the very beginning, I'm like, that's what I would do. That is exactly what I'm not going to spoil it. There's gifts out there if you want to look it up, but it is very much what I would do. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. And then just watching the main character's transformation from how he was in the beginning to how he was at the end. I thought it was a very big leap. He wasn't somebody who was all gung ho about gaining power and all this stuff, but he did what he had to do for everybody else because he's a real hero, unlike Baron. So I really that's right, shots fired. Anthony, I know you're watching this. But no, I really liked I liked storytelling of Gaim a lot, and of course the lock siege is just amazing. And I could go on for literally an hour, and I planned on that, but I was told that there are other people on the stream, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to AJ. What are your feelings on Gaim?
Well, I like Gaim itself. I'm like trying to see if I'm moving or not, but no, Gaim was great. I think I watched it like week by week as it was airing, and every week just had me wanting for the next week to come in. Like when is it next week again? When is it next week? And I think that shows how good of a show Gaim is, because every week I gotta have more. So it had me clenched to my seats. I know you binged it all the way through.
I sure did.
So for me, it was I watched it weekly. So obviously there's a difference in like how it feels, and I think in the end we both agree we love Gaim.
definitely. Zach?
Yeah, like you, David, when the kind of story or the summary of Gaim came out, and they're like, it's dance battling with these weird Lockseed monsters that are kind of like animal fights, and you're just like, what? Okay, sure. And then yeah, by like the end of the first episode, you're just like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, this is amazing. The suits are amazing. The whole theme of Fruit Samurai is fun. I got a little bit of a personal love for Gaim because one of the characters is named Zach. So hey, can't go wrong there.
Zach was a good writer, so
He had
One
heart.
of my fondest memories though is we were at convention, Power Morphicon 2014.
2014, yep.
Me, Eric, and Chris were rooming together, and literally Chris goes, "What time is it?" And we go, "Oh, it's like 4 o'clock. Why? We got to get on the line. The live stream, the new Gaim episode is up. We gotta watch it now." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we do." So we're huddled around a laptop in a hotel room at this convention, like, "Oh, I can't believe what's gonna happen now." Like Gaim is just a wonderful, wonderful series. Definitely top 3 for me for sure.
Nice,
I love Gaim. Gaim was my first writer. So it I don't say it all went downhill from there, but Gaim is he's my favorite writer. Even after watching all of these other writer seasons after it, it's still my heart. I love it. I remember I have a friend who also watches writer stuff, and I worked with him. He's like, "You gonna watch the new writer?" Yeah, I'm gonna start watching writer. I get into it. I say, I'm going to give it 8 episodes. If by 8 episodes I don't like it, I'll give up. And I'm like, this is break-dancing, little pocket monster fighting, basket, samurai, everything's being called out. I loved it. And by episode 2, I'm like, well, okay, I'm hooked. I'm absolutely hooked. But what gets you is just Kota as a writer, as a person. Like, he starts off... He's so genuine throughout the entire thing, and you can see the struggle he has within him, and he just always wants to do the right thing. And even if it's not necessarily the right thing at the time, but I just love everything about it. I could just go on and on about it, but secondary writers were great. There's a ton of writers. It's a huge cast, and they all have a personality that you can latch onto someone. If you like more of the comedic relief people, I can't remember what his name is. The pastry chef, Alphonse.
Oren.
He's great. Kamen Rider. Dorian Arms. They're all just amazing writers, and we haven't even talked about Yggdrasil and my Melon Boy. Like, how much I love them. Like, he's stopping the world from ending a lot. And and if it's not one person that's going to end it all, it's another. And we have our breakdancing fruity Jesus to save us all.
Right.
Please watch Gaim.
I really like Durian Arms because, like, when he had his intro, I did not think I was going to take him seriously, and then he gave everybody those hands. Like, when he came out, he's like,
"You need to learn what combat is."
You get it? I was like, "Yo," I really appreciated his intro into the show.
Yeah.
So for me, Kamen Rider Gaim, my absolute favorite. Just a little side note. My brother was the first one to mention this to me. I was up in visiting my family in Michigan for Thanksgiving, and my brother was like, "Have you checked out Kamen Rider Gaim?" And first off, I didn't even know my brother had got into Kamen Rider because, and so he was telling me about Wizard and Gaim, and it had been a while since I had seen a Kamen Rider series before that. I'm like, I could probably get into this, sure. And then it was just like the perfect storm. 2014 is when I met Chris, and it all culminated that whole year where at Power Morphicon, we were just like, oh my God, we got to watch every single episode. It's the first Kamen Rider series. I collected every single Lockseed, all the premium, I did everything. It was my first Kamen Rider belt, the Sengoku driver, all of that. So I went deep into Gaim, and it was just that that storytelling that kept me coming back week after week. There was always a twist, a cliffhanger, something shocking where you're like, I don't even know where this story is going, but I'm here for the ride. And Gaim was just absolutely great. Perfect.
See, as I told you guys, this is the culture stream. All highly intelligent people. Look at that. See, look, this is amazing.
Oh, Tom, don't eat that.
You have convinced someone on Facebook to want to watch it. So,
hey,
Don't do it, Tom.
it starts off like everyone said. You're thinking dancing and these like Pokemon stuff. What's happening? But by episode like 8 and 9, there's some stuff that happens, and you're like, well, the series just took a whole new direction, so here we go.
They still dance. That's the thing. It's like they still have breakdancing.
Yeah.
It's just this incredibly dark, complex. It's just happening around the breakdancing.
Yeah.
And there was even reasons for why that was important to certain characters.
Yep.
So, like, even by the end, I didn't hate that. I'm like, man, this show has everything. I mean, they even Michi got somewhat not as terrible by the end. That was the one lock seed that like I bought a lot off of eBay, and I was like, can you not include his lock seed? Like,
like, I'm sorry, David.
Oh no!
I got evil one.
Spoilers, Liz. Spoilers, Liz. Spoilers, Liz. Spoilers, Liz.
But yeah, though. So, Chris, go ahead. You're next.
Yeah. So, Kamen Rider Gaim is probably my favorite. It's got a lot of special meaning to me. We'll talk about that. So, it's the one thing when this whole series first came out and it first got announced, like everybody else, and like you mentioned, Dave, it's like fruit, armor, like, huh?
Yeah.
And in the community, there's a lot of people that were like, so we go from over the top joyous space adventure to dark wizardry to fruit samurais, like what?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of skepticism. I remember when the show was announced and so forth. But the one saving grace that I think gave a lot of people a chance to go into it, and a lot of anime people got into it, was the writer, which was Dan Urobuchi, the Uro Butcher, as he is famously known, for the way he writes Madoka Magical Girls, for example. He is famous, or infamous, maybe is the better term, for happy, not happy, like that. And that plays its part in this series. And then on a personal level, it's one of those series that you love so much because, I mean, it was a series that you made it a point on a Saturday evening to find someone streaming the show live in Japan, and it's the only series to this date that I have watched the Raw live stream, then the unsubtitled Raw, and then both the low quality and the high quality fan subs when they came out. And watching it week to week, I watched it with 3 people in the stream, with Zach, with Eric, with Tom, and we would all talk about it like literally that same day, or we talk about it.
Oh my god, did you see the new episode? I can't believe this happened. It's like our Twitter conversations were just a mile a minute.
And if you do that for 40-something weeks in a row, your friendships turn more into family. And so it's one of those series that really solidified for life the friendships with some of the people in this community that I have today.
I wish I talked to you more back then.
Awesome. Marcos?
Oh man, I have so much to say about Gaim, like you, David. So that is the only season where I've watched it 4 times now. So, yeah, as everyone praises it, Gaim gets so much praise, and I think it definitely deserves that praise. There's so much to love about it. The story is probably one of the best in Heisei, and maybe the franchise as a whole. The characters are fantastic. The fighting choreography got a lot better later on in the show, and then it just explosions and it's crazy, and like the reason why these fights are happening, and then like the depth the characters get, and they get sad when these like this bad things happen. happen, and there's so much to it. It's almost overwhelming at points, but that's kind of why I like it. Like, they're still focused despite like 100 things happening at the same time, and it's still great, and I absolutely adore it. And I wish I could talk about it for an hour or two, maybe like 3 hours at this point, but then we'd be here forever.
A separate video for this.
Now, by the way, I did not stack the deck today in all Gaim lovers. It just happened that way. Totally natural. Totally natural.
I mean, I think that speaks to Gaim's accessibility. I mean, you know, everyone here who's seen it has just gushed about it because we love it so much. And like Chris mentioned, it really did sort of foster a sense of community of like, hey, this product, this show is so good that we're bonding over that, and you know, that really, you know, you were excited to say, okay, the next episode's coming out. Like, man, I can't wait to talk about it with the guys. I can't wait to say, hey, what did you think of this part? Or, oh man, do you remember this joke that happened? Or, you know, whatever it may be. And so to have that, yeah, that's why Gaim just really is.
All I'm saying is they made a Lockseed product from one of the jokes in the show, and it's the best.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tom, your thoughts on the best rider series of all time?
The thing that I love about Gaim the most is that since the beginning.
Oh,
you muted yourself, Tom. You muted yourself.
Oh, hello.
Wait, oh no!
Tom, what'd you do?
What was your love for Gaim so powerful that it destroyed your mic?
Oh no!
Oh
Oh no!
no!
We got you.
That's what happens when he eats the Helheim fruit.
You hear me?
Yeah.
What you did for eating the Helheim fruit, Tom?
It's true.
Wait,
but can he hear us?
Tom, we can hear you.
No.
You're good. We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Yes, we can.
Nope, now you made yourself again.
Okay.
We can hear you. You no hear us.
Sounds like.
My connected.
Okay.
Okay. So what I was gonna say was that Kota from the beginning reminded me of Peter Parker. He was so pure that when he got his power, he was just like, "Oh, what can I do with this? What can I do with this?" And he was so genuine that I fell in love entirely. And then every single character went on this journey that just completely transformed who they are, who we thought they are from the beginning. People that we thought we loved, we end up hating. People that we hated in the beginning, we end up loving. And we all had a reason for it. And this is why that this is such a great show, because it made me brought this. I would never buy this. It made me buy a damn plastic fruit. I love it. I treasure it.
Right.
This damn thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely, it speaks to Gaim's. You know, it's just the writing of that show. Like, you know, the third writer, the older brother. I won't go too much into him, but I thought I was going to hate him the whole ride. And when you find out why he's doing what he's doing, like, you feel for him because he thought this was the only option. And I'm doing the best I can. And I'm like, man, this show made me love everybody except Mitchie. This is crazy.
It had also broken away from like that 2-episode structure, and I think watching it week to week, I was like, so next week is not gonna like next week's not gonna do this. All right.
maybe that was the one downside, is you really couldn't miss an episode.
Yeah.
If you missed an episode, you couldn't pick it back up. You had to go back and watch the episode you missed, or you'd be lost.
And what amazes me about Gaim is the amount of characters that they have, but everyone gets their own story, their own focus, and everyone's unique. It's amazing how many characters they balanced in that show and made it work.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
I don't think I've watched enough Kamen Rider to know that have they ever brought in another like writer that has done something like famous and then come in to write Kamen Rider, or is this like the first time? Because I remember when they announced the writer, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I couldn't believe it."
I don't know. I think lately it seems like they just have a cycle of writers that they not writers, but writers that they cycle through between their different properties. I think I don't know, Marcos. Maybe you might know. I have no idea.
Well, if there was, then Gen's the most popular one so far because everybody else, like Chris said, they do cycle out certain writers. But they do bring in a lot more. Like Toshiki Inui wrote a lot for Heisei Phase 1, but Gen Urobuchi is definitely the most biggest one. But I did want to add on top of what Eric said, they have so many characters, and to go on top of that, Gaim has so much to it. The movies, the specials, the crossovers. They have a book, and this is important too. It's crazy, and even then, like even if you just watch like the 40-some episode show, even then it's still good. But then you have so much more to it, and there's a lot to love about Gaim. Like I once I talk about Gaim, I'm never gonna shut up about it. So.
I will.
Look what you did, David.
I will say this, right? So I'm not spoiling anything, but I will say Gaim to me is one of those series that I felt got its real finale and its crossover movie with Drive and the Full Throttle movie. Yep. I felt that was the finale, the real finale of the series, because it's a direct continuation. Like events from the series like move into that movie, and there's like real conclusions. Like storylines introduced in the last episode are continued in that Full Throttle movie. So, so yeah.
I did just one of my friends just told me Chris that Shogo Muto, who wrote for Build, was also another popular writer outside of Tokusatsu.
That would explain.
Explain it.
Can't wait to talk about Build.
I'm noticing a trend.
Oh yeah,
of great series and why they're so great and memorable. I'm noticing a trend. Not to take anything away from any other Kamen Rider series, they're all great, perfect in their own way.
Yes.
They even made a stage show. Like years later, Zengetsu had. I'm supposed to say that. I mean, it was crazy. All of these years later, like they made a stage show, and it's still popular. If they came out with new lock seeds today, we would buy them. You hear that, Bluefin? You hear that?
No, stop! My wallet.
I've been telling them. I want to buy lock seeds.
And hey,
they want to make another Gaiden thing, whatever. Have them come back. There's still an audience right now that would watch Gaiden.
The Arms Change toy line, which is we haven't even talked about the merchandise, but like the main toy line, other than the figure arts, is the Arms Change toy line, and you have all the Heisei, arms change that you just put on the figure, and they get the armor of Fourze. I'll have to do that.
Yes, and I'm so mad.
Toy stream later today.
Yes, join us for that. Join us for that.
I'm so mad because they never did the Ichigo version of that.
I know.
There's an Ichigo version.
Yeah,
and I want that.
We'll start a campaign where you add Team Rider US and add Bluefin Brands. We want this stuff, and we will let it be known to the powers that be. Because anything that's attached to Gaim, I want more of. Also,
let's go back. Let's go back to the vote. Let's go back to the vote.
Yeah, and also our friends over at Bandai Japan. If you guys are watching, David would like an SIC Kachidoki Arms Gaim. So,
yeah.
You just send that my way. That would.
Mine's downstairs. Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah, send to me. Send to me. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank
you need it for a reference or something, right? That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Reference. That's the thing, guys. The SIC figure are so beautiful. So beautiful.
You're only gonna make David more jealous. So,
man, I need your address for unrelated reasons. But anyways, though, so guys, I pretty much I could guess the answer to this one as well. But Gaim, would you recommend this to someone who's brand new?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can get past the kind of odd idea of the theme at first, because it may. I want to say this without spoiling anything, but it doesn't stay dance battles and monster fights for the whole series. Like stuff changes.
What?
I might go against the grain a little bit and say that yes, you can watch it first, but I think you'll get more out of Gaim if you have watched or if you know the tropes of Kamen Rider beforehand.
That's true. Going into it as my first writer, there were definitely some things that I was like, I didn't realize it was a Kamen Rider trope until I watched Kiva, until I watched Wizard and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't just Gaim, that was a trope. So I do understand that. Yeah, Marcosatsu, that would be an idea if you had.
I would say don't let we've talked about the number of writers in this show, which is like 17, I think, when you count the movies and everything. Don't let that intimidate you, because they do an amazing job at you're not getting, it's not like Power Rangers or Sentai where they're all on the screen at once. And it's like, let's go. No, I mean, it's a character-driven narrative, and people are in the show when they're in the show for a reason. Everything that's introduced is paid off at some point, whether it's the next episode or 20 episodes later. And I would say just do it just for the music, just for Rambo Escalation alone.
Yes.
Just that's it. Just the music. Just I have all the soundtracks, so I played in my car to this day.
Nice. And I just want to throw this on screen.
Yes.
I'm just gonna put that there, right there.
If you don't own it, you have to have it.
I
you.
just ordered
I even bought a second one.
version went.
I bought a
CSM
second one
version.
because of you guys.
So the great thing about
It's a sleep belt.
The great thing about the Sengoku Driver, right? Like it comes with Gaim's faceplate, but the faceplates are interchangeable, right? So this is Zangetsu. I can pull that off and put a different, let's see, I can put Baron on. And that'll change the type of sound that comes out because it's looking for Baron. It'll play his Henshin sound before you Suya or whatever. So it is such a fun toy. Such a fun toy. We'll talk about that at, 3 p.m.?
At 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, yeah. Well, guys, okay, so we did, I had blocked out like half an hour for Gaim, and I think we met that. So, let's go to our final rider of today, Kamen Rider Drive.
Yes.
Give that over to him,
Zach, the stage is yours. And
Listen,
yes, I use the Gaim reference.
I don't know what it is about Drive that I just latched onto. If it's kind of a mix of everything. The suit design is mwah. The shift cars are the most fun little gimmick collectibles in Rider, because not only they're essential for the transformation. Yes, they're beautiful to look at. They actually you can't see because my desk is low. They roll. They're basically little Hot Wheels cars. I love them. And I just
Shift
Drive was the first time that I went full hog, and I was like, okay, I need every shift car that is used, because Shinosuke used it on screen. I need it in my collection. I think so far I'm still missing the type formula, and that's only because the Canon is super expensive on the aftermarket.
So reprints would.
If we could get that, and if we could get type Trideron, I need the Trideron shift car. So, but yeah, man, I just love Drive. Like everything about Drive is fantastic. The characters have these really complex stories and emotions that they go through. I will say it's probably the series with the most shipping between the characters.
My ship won, by the way, so that's what all mattered.
Yeah, my ship won too. So
yeah, same.
We have the same ship.
Woo!
Yeah.
Just man, and yeah, it's the first time I've ever cosplayed from a Rider series. Which when I met David and AJ at C2E2 back in February. Which, boy, that seems like a long time ago.
8 years ago.
I know, it was a long time ago.
That, just the simple suit with the tie and and this, everything about Drive is just fantastic. I love it so much. Please bring more Drive stuff. Please.
I mean, one thing I loved about Drive is that even like towards the end, which I won't spoil anything, but the bad guys, the enemies, I felt bad for them.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Hurt my heart.
Villains. Sympathetic villains.
I get it.
So much of the story.
I got it.
Yeah, I was like, come on, guys.
Brain.
Ow, I need a medic.
Oh my
God. My jokes are bad and I feel bad.
You should stop Chase being those jokes.
You know what, Chris? Go away.
Oh no!
Listen, you're all gonna get banoed.
Oh my God!
No, please stop.
You guys had this ready.
I don't have the heart to stop
We
you.
didn't plan this, but I feel like we should for tomorrow. Like, we're gonna get in a chat, David. You don't even gonna know. We're gonna have something ready.
It's gonna be out of the puns. Oh man.
Okay, so,
Guys, it's okay. June just ended. Like we're in July now. It's fine. Catch up.
I really like Drive. Drive grew on me. It was kind of like that Hangover because Gaim was my first rider, right? And so I just got to watching Gaim, and all of a sudden it gets to like start your engines and Top Gear and these little cars that
honk, honk, honk.
Shut up. That was me at first with Drive, and there was that Hangover, but going back to it after a while, like I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't like I didn't like it. It was just like But the Office, I gotta mention the captain with his fortunes that he would get every day, and the side characters, one of the guys who is into his manga, and they all have their little things, even like the comedic parts. It's all of the people are there and they bring something to Shinosuke to turn him into the writer that he ends up being. And whether it's the technology or the heart behind it or whatever it is, but it is a really good show, and it makes you feel so much for the characters. And I think it has a nice balance. Like there are always things in it that kind of made me laugh, well, at the same time, even when the story was getting serious. But overall, I did enjoy Drive, and if you slept on it a few years ago, I think it's really worth going back to watch.
Start your engines and go back.
Yes.
Getting Top Gear.
I love Drive. It was such a great concept, and one of the things I liked is for years in Kamen Rider, we've seen the Japanese police get brutalized by these monster attacks years and years, and now we have a Kamen Rider that is part of this police force doing what's right and fighting all these monsters. And I love the interaction with the characters. I think it's a great show. The gimmick is super fun. The Kokon tire changes are the effects are incredible. And it was one of those series where I wasn't watching it week to week, but I binged it with Chris, and I was in for every single part of that show.
Yeah, I love Drive. I really do. Precursor, I think it was tough for me to get through. Probably, I think maybe the first 20-something episodes. There's a story change that happens, an event that happens that they had kept using as a story device or plot device for like the first 20-something episodes. And then after that gets taken care of, I really felt that it shined. It has that series will always have a special place in my heart because I found that I was going to be a father for the first time when Drive was airing. And like most normal guys, I panicked. So I went to the only place that I could feel comfortable to figure stuff out, which was Eric's house in Chicago. So and him and I binged for like 9 hours straight at one point.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Just Kamen Rider Drive. And, it's a great show. It's full of heart, full of emotion, full of great music. Spinning Wheel is one of the best tracks. Down to Escalation.
I just want to say, like the intro. Please do not do this. I find myself every time I listen to it and then I'm driving, I tend to have like my pedal like just more and more. I'm like, I need a lesson.
It's a great show, great special effects, great fight choreography. Like Drive is a great series from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Good catchphrase too.
It's very charming to watch all the way through. It's very lovely. It's like another comfortable series. The cast is great. The story is beautiful. The characters are so good. They're probably some of the best in the whole franchise. Just the characters. Shinosuke, the lead, is one of my favorites. The rider kick is really cool, by the way.
Yes,
it's so good.
Yeah. I wanted to mention because you talked about it in your video, Marcos, about that rider kick and just how amazing it is.
Thank you. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite rider kicks ever. It just looks so cool, and I guess Drive looks cool in general. It has a great aesthetic. It has great. God, Drive's another one I could talk about for hours, and I did. So
he had a video overview It was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm just like, well,
Yeah.
I'm watching this whole thing right now, so let's go.
But I love that there's no bike. He's in a car. It's Kamen Rider
Uh-huh.
Drive. He drives, and the car is just it's sexy. It is just a beast, right?
It's Kamen
Yeah.
Rider, Knight Rider. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It was just-
Kamen Driver.
Kamen Drive.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So the part that I love the most about Kamen Rider Drive is Chase.
Mhm.
I love Chase and his Mark and Chase, the way they play off of each other, and his tragic story, and then later on there's other things that happen, which once you get there you'll know what I'm talking about. But everything, the way it developed, the father issues. My God, the father issues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good. And you know, he's not a traditional rider. He drives. He wears Crocs. You know, I mean, he just got everything. I love it. I it's another one of the shows where I just came off a really good show. You know, the first being Fourze, the second being Gaim, and I just watched it all the way through, and I just couldn't understand some of the people with the, you know, that they didn't like it. I was like, really? I enjoyed it. I find it fascinating. The way they play everybody was so good.
Nice. Now, you know, we are running a little behind time, but it's okay. Let's go through everyone really quickly. You know, should you start with Drive? Start with AJ.
I think Drive, you know, like we've said on previous writers, if you like the theme of any of the writers that we've had, you should always check it out. And Drive's no different. Him driving a car is so different compared to everyone, you know, using a bike. And just that alone, I remember it caught my attention to me. I'm like, he's got a car. I have to see this. I think Drive is actually pretty good to start off with as well.
I'm gonna...
Quick thing. You guys had that bundle with the Black
Ride
RX
Alone?
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
maybe we should do the other bundle.
Noted.
I want to mirror AJ. Yeah, like Drive is unique in that he drives a car. He's not on a bike. But if you're into sort of detective mysteries, police work, if you're into kind of these really unique characters, definitely give Drive a look. You know, I of course I'm biased because it's probably, you know, my favorite, but give it a check. Like, it's really good. It's so good, you guys.
But that's just proof how fun it can be. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
I totally. I think it's the thing is nowadays. Wow, I feel old nowadays. Riders don't necessarily use their bikes a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like bike or car, like it's really cool that it's a car. But if you're like, I don't want to have it be my first season because they use a car and not a bike, seriously, it's just it is a really good season. And yeah, as I said, I sat on it for a while, but thinking back on it, it's a good season, and I think it would be just a fine first rider for someone.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Short to the point.
Agreed.
We're saving time.
No, yeah.
Well, I really think that if you're really watching Kamen Rider just for the bikes, Mark and Chase both have a bike, and they are badass.
That's true.
So
Yeah, Chase
That's
is
true.
weird.
and they
even do a thing.
They combine. So yeah, if you want bike, there's bike too, but there's a car which is based on the Acura NSX, which I loved as a kid. So for that to be the car, I was just like, yes, count me in.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Drive was definitely a great ride to be on. So it's a good note.
I see what you did there.
Nice drive.
Nice drive.
Nice drive.
Oh man, guys. Well, before we leave, just want to remind you later today at 3 p.m. You can join us, Tokunation and Ranger Command, talking about Kamen Rider toys and collectibles. I suspect there will be talk about Gaim. again once more. And then, of course, tomorrow will be Ghost, Xaid, and Build. So definitely please look forward to that. And don't forget, we still have the sale. We have bundles. They do sell out, such as the Black RX bundle. That, I think, was gone day one. So
Day one.
Sad face. But we do have a bunch of other things, including the acrylic stands and other drivers for you guys to enjoy. And, of course, don't forget, we have the shirts, guys. We're making an announcement later on this week about more things that are related to these things here. So definitely stay tuned on that. And, of course, you should have expected this is going to be the longest stream that we do because it was mostly about his lordship Gaim. So
proud it came in almost exactly an hour. Like kudos to everybody here that we kept it almost in limit.
Kept it in, guys. But anyways, we'll see you guys later today for the toy stream, and thank you guys for everybody who came out, and see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Nice drive.
Nice.
Oh, that was really good.